You asked to see me?
You picked a cold night to visit us. Please, be seated.
Right, so you've started then?
We have not started the rituals, no.
Why haven't you started? We're in a hurry!
We have not started the rituals, nor shall we, until the master decision has been made. Would you...
Well, get on with it then!
Once I have explained to you the nature of the decision, then all shall be clear.
If you had
now,
any idea how much trouble it's been to get his body here...
Normally I would be talking to a close relative, a father, a brother, a son. Is there anyone of that nature who could perhaps be making this decision?
No, his family's 200 leagues from here.
Right.
No, it's
Can
just
I
us.
Take it then that I'm talking to the right man?
I'm not the leader, but he was my friend.
There is a difficult decision to be made.
I'm not making this. You're the experts.
Please, Mr.
Underhill.
Underhill. Yes, I quite understand. Be assured, you have come to the right place. We have been resurrecting people here for 280 years, and we know what we're doing. But resurrection is very complicated, which is why there are so few people who can do it. And those who can tend to be somewhat elderly.
More money, is that it? Right, you can have more money.
The money is, I'm sure, fine, and it's not my concern. I understand that you have satisfied the bursar, that you have the necessary funds.
What?
I know you can pay.
Well, get on with it then. Bring him back.
The point is there is another decision, quite remote from the money, which someone has to make on behalf of the deceased, and we cannot make the decision. Nor
How am
shall
I
we
supposed
do
to know?
anything until that decision has been made. Now, will you please be seated? Thank you.
So, what do we need to do then?
Now, I must describe to you 3 different methods we might use to resurrect your friend. I and my colleagues have examined his body, and the news is mostly good. The wounds are quite clean, actually. The main spear wound, which I believe was the fatal one, should heal perfectly fine. No major tendons were severed, which is good news, because those things are a devil to fix.
So,
I have high confidence that we can heal him in body. We do, however, have to cope with his advancing state of putrefaction.
what is that?
He's started to rot, hence the smell.
Oh, rotting.
I'm
Right.
afraid this counts against us, but it's something we have overcome many times. Fear not. So, the 3 methods are very different in consequence. Each has its risks and its hazards. I would say that there are only 2 options available, but my colleagues insist that I must explain 3.
Well, why can't you just do it?
You shall see. The first option is perhaps the simplest. We wake him up as he is. And then, once woken up, we have to heal him. This is the most reliable of methods. I have, in all my time here, only known twice it fail. And those were very extraordinary circumstances. Those circumstances do not apply here, so I am quite confident that this method will work.
So we should do that?
However, imagine waking up in a body that is rotting. You have, I'm sure, been ill. You have never been half so ill as your friend will feel upon waking in the body that he has now. You will feel ill in your stomach, in your head, in your bowel, in your heart. All your muscles will ache, your skin will crawl. Every part of you will be as ill can be. It would perhaps be 2 weeks before he could walk out of here, but they would be 2 weeks that I would not wish on anyone, and he would certainly not want to go through again. I have heard people say that they would rather not be resurrected again in future, in preference to going through that again. But it does work.
Yes.
There is another drawback to this method, however. Once your friend is fully recovered and walks out of here, as I'm sure he would, he will never quite be the same man that you once knew. He will be a lesser man.
What do you mean?
Lesser in every way. He won't be quite as strong, won't be quite as fast, not quite as quick-witted.
And less likable.
Every one of his skills will have atrophied to some degree.
What's the second one?
He will be able to improve, of course. He will still be able to learn things, but he will never quite attain the full peak of his potential as he had before his demise.
Okay, move on. Next one.
The second is the one I would counsel against. It is shamanic in nature. The shamans separate your friend's spirit from his body, and in the absence of the spirit, we can then use quite different rituals to heal the body, and we will be able to heal the body much more quickly and much more thoroughly. So much the better. If everything goes well, your friend will be
So is that...
waking up in a completely healed body and will be able to walk out the same day, most likely, and will be every bit the man you once knew.
So what are the risks and hazards, what you were saying?
But as for the drawback, it is not for the faint-hearted. A great spirit can be encountered. A great spirit that we had not perceived in this world was perhaps nearby, and upon encountering the spirit of the departed separate from his body, seizes the opportunity to attack it or chase it off. And perhaps we never recover the spirit at all. In which case, though I would say annihilation is perhaps the mercy. And it will never be reunited with either its body or any of its ancestors, or perhaps any other spirits ever at all. An eternity of loneliness. It is a fate I would wish on no one. So this is not a choice I would ever make. And if you take it, you must understand that you're not taking it lightly.
I don't know if I can... Oh.
It can even be worse. We have known of a couple of cases where a spirit has actually been bound back into the body by the shamans and has turned out not to have been the spirit that left it. In other words, the body is resurrected, but the spirit within it is someone else entirely.
But
it will not be your friend at all, and he might not like you.
But the risk is low.
I would say that those on whom we practice this method are perfectly fine in 4 cases out of 5.
Don't like that. No, not that one. Next one.
The third method, well, happily, like the first, it's near certain to work. And I would say twice as often as not, it works extremely well. And within a day or two, your friend will be leaving here pretty much his former self.
So you're telling me I should pick this one?
Well, this is the one which most family members choose.
So this is the one I should pick?
But they have perhaps lost their loved one to a fall from a ladder, something like that. Very seldom does someone in your particular profession choose this one. Because when it doesn't work quite as we would wish, your friend revives and is healthy enough in body and is entirely there in spirit, but is like arriving for the first time, like a newborn baby. Your friend will be every bit as intelligent as he was when he died, but he will be starting again. Now, some skills come back very quickly. Walking, for instance, is usually back within a day or two. But other skills, like talking, take considerably longer. And, well, as I say, he'll be starting again. It is a considerable burden of care. It will be like having a child again. Are you certain you want to choose that level of responsibility.
Is there an amount of money that would make this, for a better option, make this simple?
I am sure that nobody here has told you that this decision would be easy. We will never make this decision for you. Until this decision is made, and until you have signed a document making it clear that you made this decision, having been advised of its consequences, nothing will happen.
Oh, just do it.
So, those are the three options. I hope I've described them to you well enough. Do you understand all three of them?
I don't know how. If anyone from his family comes here, will they see this document? Twice as often as not. So it's a 1 in 3 chance it goes wrong.
Time, I'm afraid, is of the essence. Which do you choose?
These are all terrible.
And there you have it. Yes, I'm well aware that if that scene were in a feature film, it would be far too long and far too talky, and one of the characters never moves. With the possible exception of the architect sketch at the end of the second Matrix film, I'm not sure there's ever been such an exposition dump by a seated, bearded man. But it needed to be an exposition dump by, well, at least a bearded man, because I had to play the part. And I had lots of points that I wanted to get across, lots of ideas I wanted to get into the scene. Plus, I wanted it to be dramatic, because one of my main points is just how dramatic discussing resurrection with a resurrectionist would be. And I fear that in a lot of novels and fantasy films, a resurrection is made too easy. It's a potentially world-breaking power. I mean, imagine you're writing a fantasy novel in which every village has half a dozen resurrectionists. They're 10 a penny and they're dirt cheap. And so the consequences of this could be enormous. It might be, for instance, that there's a huge amount more violence. You have an argument with your neighbour, so you just stab him to death just to show him how angry you are with him. He didn't realise you were quite so angry about it, but you showed him, and then you trudged again round to a resurrectionist and you paid him a load of money. It's all right, he's a mate, he'll buy you a load of beers later. You'll get most of it back one way or another. And then you say, well, yeah, you'll find him in the top corner of 10 Acre Field. Better take a handcart, he's a big guy. And then it becomes just a mild inconvenience. You shake hands, but there's still maybe a grudge, and maybe he'll stab you to death, which is only fair. But it would be of very little consequence, because resurrection is a thing. Knowledge can't die with someone. You stab someone to death, and you think, aha, the enemy won't be able to share his knowledge. Now I'll die rather than, we'll just resurrect you. Oh, damn it! So holding out against torture might not work. And there are so many world-breaking things about resurrection being common, but in most fantasy worlds it's quite uncommon, at least, but maybe not uncommon enough. And certainly I think it's portrayed in a lot of fantasy games as far too convenient, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And if you're really into roleplay games, which is likely if you've watched this far, then you will find this message particularly relevant. TaleSpire might be just the thing for you. In that you can download ready-made terrain contributed by the community, or you can make your own. All you got to do is select the genre of bit that you want, then select your bit from that genre and start plonking down copies of it. And pretty soon you're done. And then you can populate this with denizens, and then with just a couple of clicks you're in play in the same program. Take this elf, for instance. Oh, it's his turn. Well, he can run up the stairs and then, oh look, a goblin. Right, he can give it a twang. Roll the die there. Oh, 20! And then you can take some hit points off that, and oh, good lord, it's kept track of the hit points, and he's dead! You can also attach light sources to your figures and have them wander around in the dark and explore that way, and some elements, like doors, are animated. So click in the link below, and there you will find details on how you can make a one-time payment. Yes, a one-time, none of this subscription nonsense, one-off payment, and then you will have TaleSpire. The beta version, it's still in development, but this is good for two reasons. One, it means that you can be part of the development community and make suggestions. Oh, can we have this wall, but a little bit taller and in red or something? And two, when the full version does come out, be assured you will have that as well. And as a GM, you can also buy seats, if you like, for your players to come in and join you in the game online. So, link below. Back to the video. Yes, thank you, sponsor. Now, resurrection. I say it's not dramatic enough. It ought to be dramatic. And one of the things that makes for a dramatic scene is a horrible choice. So, the choice isn't just, do we resurrect him or not? It's, which kind of resurrection are we going to go for? What are the consequences? And what are the consequences of the choice we make? Because it's not just how it turned out. Maybe you picked one of the options and the guy's healed up, he's resurrected, he's fine, hooray, success. But actually, he then later finds out, sorry, you picked which kind of resurrection? You hazarded what? Okay, and he might bear a grudge for the fact that you picked the wrong kind of resurrection. And the prices. I out of curiosity, I looked up resurrection in the latest incarnation of Dungeons and Dragons, and there's revivify, raise dead, and resurrect. There may be more, but I found those three. They're all extremely similar. Essentially, it's a spell. Boom, you cast it, and hey, the guy's alive again. And yeah, he's -4 in some rolls for a bit, but then -3, -2, -1. He very quickly recovers, and he's in his same old self again. Everything fine. Nothing about lost memories, changes of personality. None of that. You just fine. So if you look upon Dungeons and Dragons as just advanced Ludo, kill the monster, get the treasure, level up, repeat, well then it's not really a roleplay game, in which case you could just look upon Resurrection as just a game mechanic and nothing more. Fine, there is a cost. The cost of one of the spells was a diamond that's used in the ritual that must have a minimum value of 1,000 gold pieces. Oh yeah, all right. Okay, so think about that. So you go to a market, you know what the price of diamond is. They weigh out a diamond and it comes to 938 gold pieces. It's not expensive enough for the ritual. But the size of the diamond doesn't seem to matter. It's just how expensive it is. Could you not charge me more and write out a receipt as proof that I paid over 1,000 for it? Thanks. There we go. There's a diamond that cost me more than 1,000 gold pieces. Therefore, it must work. And you know, don't you, that a resurrectionist has got you over a barrel. Why have you carried this corpse over mountain and through the swamp to get here if it's not really amazingly important to you that this person be revived? Well, okay. Oh dear, yeah, we need one that's at least 1,000 gold pieces. We've only got one left and it's 30,000. So do you want this guy resurrected or not? I'd be tempted, frankly, to buy it, hit it with a hammer, give him the biggest bit and say, fine, I'll keep the dust. But anyway, of course they're going to come up with reasons to bump up the price at the last minute. You're desperate. You're obviously desperate. You could not be, the stakes couldn't be high. It's literally life and death of a loved one. Yes, you're going to pay whatever you have to resurrect this person. So the idea that they wouldn't price gouge, I think, is a bit naive. Another thing is that they're likely to be different prices, but how these relate. You might think, for instance, as a referee, okay, I'll give them these three options. I think that one's the best, so I'll charge the most for it. I'll make that one the most expensive. Or you might think, I think this is the one they'll choose, so I'll make that one the most expensive. But why not make it the cheapest? Because, think about it. How would you feel if someone cheapskated on resurrecting your friend? So, the Fellowship of the Ring, they go off on an adventure. Legolas gets killed really early on. Oh no. So they take Legolas's body to a resurrectionist. Sorry, we don't do elves. Oh yeah, wrong one. So they take him to another resurrectionist and they're given a menu and you pick the cheapest. Now, you may think it's the best, but what the hell? You picked the cheapest, the one that all the poor people go for. Legolas is related to royalty. He was a prince. What's his family going to think of you? Oh, yes, you wanted to forge an alliance. Did you? Gimli with the dwarves. Oh, and you, Boromir, with the men of Gondor. And you skimped a measly 500 gold pieces. You skimped on resurrecting a prince. What, you think we wouldn't be good for that 500? You think we wouldn't have come up with it if you were a bit short? Oh, yeah, right. You skimped on that. Right, no alliance for you. You made what you thought was the right decision and the most economical and the best. But no. Don't pick the cheapest. Think of the social stigma of picking the cheapest version of resurrection. Oh, I see. His own son. Do you know? He resurrected his own son and he went for the pauper's resurrection. He didn't. He did. Yeah. And maybe the pauper's resurrection is every bit as good, maybe better. Or it's just a different risk and hazard. In the scene there, I wasn't much using probabilities and percentages and so forth, because giving someone the choice in game terms, I think makes it too easy and too unrealistic as well. People don't talk in game terms. As for how many go wrong, well, would a resurrectionist in a medieval world necessarily keep accurate records, and then be honest about those accurate records? No, they may say, this one almost always works. Yeah. Or they might say, they might go the other way. They might lower your expectations. Oh, it's really unlikely to work. But if it does, it's wonderful and the gods are clearly favouring us. And when they knew it was going to work all along, bing! A miracle! Your guy comes back to life. Oh, wow, the gods have really smiled. Let's throw a feast which you can pay for. Again, anything to get more money out of you. And more status. And think how happy a customer is when someone comes back to life that they weren't expecting to come back to life. Oh, yes, paint a gloomy picture possibly is a better sales technique than painting a rosy one. Just think of the drama that's lost as well if you know exactly how much something's going to cost. So there you are, dragging this body up a mountain to get it over and through the snows, and you've got to sneak it past this city in case you're caught by the watchman there, and all the time having no idea how much this is going to cost you. Now, if you play D&D by the rulebook and you're a player, oh no, I looked it up in the rulebook, it's 1,000 gold pieces. Well, it's a gem worth 1,000 gold pieces. Yeah, we can get that. Then you don't have the worry that a real person would be many leagues from the resurrectionist temple, thinking, I have no idea how much this is going to cost me. And of course, the resurrectionists will know that you have no idea how much this is going to cost you. So the extra drama of the doubt, of the fear, is you're really missing out if you just say, oh yeah, resurrection, 1,000 gold pieces. So make it a great unknown. I mean, if you're not American, for instance, you go to the USA and you get horribly ill and you have to go to hospital, you've got some idea in your head this is going to be horrendously expensive, but almost nothing is going to prepare you for just how horrendously expensive it actually is going to be. The fear of the hospital expense should be part of the drama. So yes, keep the expenses vague and variable and large and unfair, and you get more drama. It is my suggestion. Now to present the three options that I gave you there, of course, those were just the first three that I thought up. But in game terms, which you may find more convenient, you could say the first option one has a 99% chance of success, but your player character ages 10 years, loses 2 off strength, int, whiz, con, dex, char, etc., and -4 to all skills. You can go up levels and put more points into skills and increase your skill by some other means or whatever, but that's it. Or if you use a system like Dungeons and Dragons, which has this weird concept of level, then you could say you lose so many levels or half your levels or something. A pretty dire consequence. You come back not the guy who died. And so the second one, which was that, so let's say it's got a 80% chance of working and you're fine, hooray, and it's got a 2% chance that your spirit is annihilated and that's it. That's it. You are gone forever. No shaman will ever be able to contact your spirit because there is no spirit to contact. You're gone. 1% chance of being your body being possessed by a different spirit entirely, may not even be human. And what does that leave? 17% chance of eternal torment. There you go. Putting it in percentage terms. But I don't think a fantasy character should talk in percentage terms, unless that's the sort of fantasy world you have, where everyone is very statistically educated. But I live in a world in which everyone has maths lessons at school, and still most people don't really understand stats. They don't understand the difference between risk and hazard, for instance. and I know you do, but for the other people watching, the risk is the chance of something going wrong, and hazard is the consequence of it's going wrong. So, for instance, I might hazard £10 that if you roll that d6, you don't roll a 6. So the risk is 1 in 6. But the hazard is £10. But the risk might be identical, still 1 in 6, you're rolling the same die, there's a 1 in 6 chance you roll a 6. But I might hazard £1,000 because hazard and risk are actually two completely independent variables, and you have to weigh up both with difficult choices like this. So, should your world be statistically naive or savvy? It's up to you, but I think most people would go with naive. And when doctors today, if you go into a hospital today, doctors will very seldom give you a percentage chance of something working. They just say, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, they're vague and guarded, as they have to be. So there's that. And the drama, you're missing out on all the drama. I hope I highlight in that scene quite a lot of the horrible dilemmas. The what if his family comes here and sees the contract, and then maybe they try to find out who I am, and maybe they disagree with the choice I made, and what if it did go wrong and they disagree with the choice I made? You know, what if their loved one is now in eternal torment because I needed that guy back as soon as possible, full fighting, because I had this adventure to go on, and you know, we got to save the kingdom. We had 2 days to save the kingdom, and we regarded that person not as a loved one and as a family member, but just as his killing power, his stats. And even the person who is resurrected might be annoyed. Sorry, what? Which choice did you make? Why didn't you go for that one? Oh, but it was 2,000 gold pieces more. What? I'm wearing +3 plate armor. That's worth vastly more than that. Yeah, but we wanted you to still have your +3 plate when you came back to life again. No, this is my life. You sell next time I die. Sell everything and get me the best. I can't believe you made that choice. And he's so angry he leaves the party. Well, of course he won't, because he's a player character. Then he won't get a game. Well, I suppose he could leave the party and temporarily retire that character and roll up a bard and join in again. So don't miss out on the drama, and give horrible, just come up with dilemmas. The difficult choices are what make drama. And if you want roleplay gaming to be dramatic, and why wouldn't you, then you should be presenting your players with as many difficult choices as possible. And resurrection, that's an absolute golden opportunity. Don't miss it. Whoops, forgot to say the third one. Yes, the third one, a 66% chance that it goes fine, and a 34% chance that your character has to relearn all the skills from scratch. Is going to be a little child. But I imagine if you've got an adult body, some skills, like the physical ones, like walking, you will get back way, way, way faster than a baby acquires it. Don't forget that it's a bit of an illusion that babies learn how to walk. They're born with a body that's physically incapable of walking. But a deer, on being born, comes out of its mother, lands on the ground, and then stands up and walks over to its mother and starts suckling straight away. A deer is born knowing how to walk because it's born with a body that is physically capable of walking. So if you were to wake up resurrected in a body capable of walking, you could learn to walk with that body probably an awful lot faster than a baby. An awful lot faster. But other skills, like talking is complicated. It takes children years to get any good at it. Why would an adult with an adult's brain, which is not actually particularly wired for acquiring new languages, why would an adult be at a great advantage there? Might not be. So, for the rest of your character playing days, you may have to speak in broken English. Well, tough. Anyway, I forgot that. Another thought on that last one is it might be quite good for your long epic campaign where a character is resurrected and then is like reborn as a new child and then just goes away to mature again somewhere, and the other characters re-encounter that character many years later, and what has become of him? That's a dramatic idea.
What was the third option? I have completely forgotten what the third option was.
just on the off chance someone is interested in how I shot that scene, which I did very quickly. I did the shooting thing in just a couple of hours. I didn't have a script, and I just put a load of felt tip runes on my face and wrapped a scarf around my head and sat in the chair and did all of the exposition or all the explanation of the three options from three different angles on that character. And when eventually I thought, I think I've said everything now, I finished. And whilst acting him, I just paused every now and again, imagining myself to be interrupted by, I didn't know what, just imagining that the other guy says something at this point. Otherwise, he's just sitting there in silence for the whole thing, which would be a bit weird. Then, when I was satisfied I really had said everything, I then washed my face, because there's no going back then, changed into the other costume, and then just recorded loads of interjections. None of them scripted, so I would just say things like, but how, I don't understand. Are you sure? So what was the first one again? Oh, I don't like this. And just all sorts of interjections like that I thought might be useful. And then in the edit stage, which took ages, as you might imagine, every time I felt that the resurrectionist character had to be interrupted, I would just find something. And I did. The biggest thing I didn't do was record long shots of the other character, the guy's come to the temple wanting his friend resurrected, just listening. So that's why all the shots of him are really quite short, because I didn't have any long, just shots of him listening. And yeah, should have thought of that. That would have been a useful shot to have. Also didn't get a cutaway of the money on the table, which is a shame, because I didn't. It just happened that the coins flew out of the pouch and went all over the place when I threw it down. It would have been quite nice to see that, but hey-ho, didn't get a shot of it. Only the one camera and only the one me. And I know the framing was a little bit off, but it's quite difficult when you are your own cameraman. And I was very disappointed actually with this camera, because when I got this, it used to be really clean. It wasn't noisy, but did you notice in the dark areas of the picture, there's all these boiling pixels, grainy noise. I didn't put any gain in, so it shouldn't have been noisy, but it was really noisy. And there you go. So that's annoying. Possibly I need a more expensive camera.
I've completely forgotten what the third option was. How is this possible?